Yo, what's good? It's your boy Magnificent ENT. Stand up. Thank you for joining me for another episode on my YouTube channel, and I'd like to give a special thanks to each and every one of you who's been showing me love on my Pad Thai MPC expansion video. That video has been going higher and higher and higher. It's my fastest rising video on my YouTube channel, and it's the most likes on it and a lot of comments, suggestions y'all been giving me. And they're gonna come a time where I'm working on these things, working on the YouTube process, but I want to show appreciation to you guys, and I'd like to do a follow-up video by telling you my favorite MPC expansion packs. Now these are my favorites, not necessarily the ones I have, but they are definitely the ones I've used but not have before. Many circumstances happen, lost computers throughout time, different circumstances happen where I was not able to keep them, but I have used them. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I'll be doing these videos each week, and we're going to go in and start off with the expansion that is pretty much a VST type expansion, the F9 expansion. Now, ever since I have the F9 expansion from the MPC, from Akai, oh my goodness, I was able to play instruments on there. They're not as cheesy as some of those stock sounds you get if you buy a Live 2 or a Live or whatever, but they are very good sounds. Some of the things I love on there is the string sounds on there. But definitely, I use this on many of my beats, whether it's trap, boom bap, lo-fi. I love their basses. They have some good 808 basses and some good sub basses if you want to use that. The string section is good, the brass section is good, but I think where this expansion pack shines is with the synth pads and leads. Man, I think that's where it shines at, really. You can come up with some crazy melodies and crazy sounds and beats with these sounds. So I think that's where it starts off. And the F9 instrument expansion is probably the biggest expansion out of all of them. It took me a long time to download it to my computer, tell you how old of a computer I have. But other than that, it was well worth the wait and well worth the money paying for it. If you happen to have MPC Beats, you can actually download this for free. I think you go on the website and they'll show you how to do that. But the F9 expansion, the F9 instruments, is definitely #1 on my list. And #2 is what I talked about last week. It's the reason why I'm making these videos. It's the Pad Thai MPC expansion from Marco Polo. Marco Polo has been killing this in the videos I've been seeing on YouTube. People making beats on it. It's just great to see this expansion go out. Now this is the deluxe version. Marco Polo has different Pad Thai expansion packs from different programs, and where this thing shines to me is the drums. The drums really slap on these. The samples are good too. I love the samples. I love the samples, but I'm pretty sure everybody loves the samples, and everybody is going to use the samples. So I tend to stay away from the samples that much. And but if for a demonstration, I'll probably use the samples. But any sample you use with this expansion pack, as long as it's boom bap and hard, it goes good with it. Now we're gonna go over to the first MPC expansion pack I've ever bought, and that's the original MPC Sole Provider. Magnificent. Now the MPC Sole Provider is definitely one I've always used. When I first bought it in 2018, it introduced me into the way of lo-fi beat making. Some of the stabs it used were amazing. I love the sample stabs. You can make great beats out of sample stabs. I made some of my favorite beats out of sample stabs. Matter of fact, if you listen to my beat tape point of views, some of the beats on there, you will hear some of those stabs that I use directly from the MPC Sole Provider expansion, the first one. I love this expansion. It introduced me into the expansion world of the MPC and of Interkai professionals. The drums are lo-fi, but you can definitely use this in many of your ways of making beats, of lo-fi beats. And it's really good to use that for. Number 4, we're going to go with the Sole Provider 3. Magnificent. Sole Provider 3 takes what Sole Provider 1 and 2 did, and it made it a little bit more sophisticated. And when I mean sophistication, the stabs are not as eloquent, but the drums are where this thing lies. And they're not the hard-hitting boom bap drums like you get off of the Sole Provider and the next one we're about to go over, but they definitely shine when it comes to the sophistication of the drums. You can use these in lo-fi beat making, West Coast beat making. You can use these in different types of music. You don't have to be straight hip-hop. But when I get out these vibes, it's straight Dilla vibes. If I want to use a straight Dilla vibe and making these beats, and I feel like a Dilla vibe, I can do something like this in the MPC Sole Provider 3. And that's where I get this. I love it. Definitely gonna be my favorite. And number 5, for all my trap producers, if you're a trap head, a person like trap beats, we're gonna go to the Decaf presents Drum Zack Knock MPC expansion. Anybody who knows Decaf is, bruh, just like Marco Polo, Decaf drums do knock. And not in the way of a boom bap way, but in the way of a trap way. You can use sick trap beats. And the thing about it, if you use his drums and you make a trap beat out of it, it'll stand out. That's what I love about it. The individuality, the significant individualities of his drum sounds of Decaf. I definitely use that in many of my old computers, and some of the beats that you hear. You probably recognize some of the snares, the hi-hats, and the kicks, and the 808s, and the bass. You probably recognize that if you have any of my beats and listen to it. But those are my 5 favorite MPC expansion packs. Now, also wanted to show that the Trap Soul edition of A-Rap Music, that's also into it, and the soulful vocals of A-Rap Music is into it. And I also like to show love to the original lo-fi trap scene. Now, these are definitely all the expansions I've used, but those are my top favorite. What I want you guys to do, if you see this video, tell me your favorite MPC expansions. Hit them down in the comments, and we'd like to agree, we can disagree. And if you're new to the channel, again, like it, subscribe for it. If you like what I got going on, hit the donation at the bottom of the page in my description. If you'd like to donate to my PayPal so I can keep this going. And if you're a rapper and you like any of the beats that I make, perhaps from my series Sunday's Best Beats, go into my BeatStar page. Once again, it's in the description. So thank you for another episode on my YouTube channel. If you want to see the inspiration to this channel, this video, look at the card right there. And as I always say at the end of the video, this is A Magnificent out.